Good. Transition requires leadership. That's where I would like to start. Because there are lots of things you can do. Is the sound on here, by the way? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Lots of things you can do at a smaller scale, but when we talk about transitioning, it really comes down to being essentially a leader's agenda, and it really requires a lot of leadership to get there. And why is that, you could say, is because very soon this becomes about merging the green agenda, the sustainability issue, with the actual business. And of course, as soon as you do that, it's more about getting the green part into business than getting the business part into the green. So, we have to upgrade the business leaders, which means that very often and very fast this becomes a leadership agenda. And why do I say that? It might sound very obvious, but we can just see from experience that very often, if not always, but mostly, this starts with a person that has either waste or sustainability or perhaps a technical part at their heart. And then they do all the sort of initial work before you get around to actually trying to implement and scale this. And this is where then top management comes in. So this little diagram here about where we want to end is pretty crucial because we have to start and end with the thinking around business. And that's also why it becomes essentially a business agenda. And of course you all know sustainability and you all know about circular economy to some extent, I'm assuming at least. But just to sort of really in one slide say, well, why is it that it's interesting? Well, there are lots of typical business agendas that you can do something with using the circular economy toolbox. So just to put up some here that we know catches most CEOs' attention and CFOs and other at the top management level. So cost reductions, increasing sales, increasing brand value, attract talent, motivation and innovation, and of course also being ahead of legislation. So if you are in a company or an organization where you feel like it's still a little bit of a struggle to get attention from top management level and buy-in to really fuel the journey you want to get into, well, try to have a look and see how do I connect what idea I have already to, for instance, some of these. Because I bet you that they will pay attention if you come up and say, I have a solution that can cut our costs. Would you like to have a talk with me? Or I know how I can increase sales. Or I think I can attract better minds and have them stay longer or become more happy and more productive at work. Could we have half an hour talk? Sure you can. Right? All right, let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Jasper Steinhausen. I come from a company called Ouroboros, and it's actually a Norwegian company, even though I speak Danish, because we have a sort of a double home playing field. So we are two founding partners, a Norwegian woman called Camilla Haugsten, that some of you might have met somewhere, and myself, who lives in Denmark. But what we do is really help to enable the huge potential that there is for using business as the vehicle to creating the change that we would like to see. And we're doing it in a way where we facilitate an integration of this whole circular mindset into the DNA and thereby creating competitive advantage. So again, it's back to making it a business case, but a business case with embedded environmental impact. So I'm sure everybody here, just to raise your hand, how many feel like they have sort of a fairly decent understanding of circular economy? Just about everybody. Fantastic. That's what I thought. But I did put up one slide together just to say if we really should boil it down in plain and simple English, what's it all about? Why are we doing this? Why are we pursuing this? Then, in my opinion, this is at least an attempt to say really simple, what's it all about? Because if we can do more with less, then of course we'll save money and we'll save material. If we get to use all the materials more than once, well, if you buy them once and sell them twice, then everybody can, I guess, see the business case in that. And then we need less material altogether. And if we utilize every product we actually make far better, well then of course the value of every product goes up, and that's again a business value, and we need less materials, less products altogether to fulfill the same need. And then finally make sure that we use as clean materials as we possibly can, both because it makes the reuse and of the materials far easier and maintains value, but also of course from that everything that is connected to our systems, if it's embedded or sort of has lots of chemicals in it, then there are opportunities or risks of things off-gassing or getting into the environment. So those are sort of the four simple ways of sort of boiling all the theory down to that's what it's all about. So the last thing I would like to say here on content-wise, before I dive into the sort of the rhythm of the day, is coming back to the theme of enabling. What does it actually take? Because as we see it, there are at least 4 really, really crucial ingredients that you need if you want to succeed with a circular economy, or making business out of it, at least. So the first one is change management. This is hugely a change management agenda, because we are looking at our current system, our current company, our current organization, whatever you do, municipality, whatever it is, and we need to change here and there, sometimes a lot, sometimes not so much, but we need to make a lot of changes, and we need to get everybody on board of it. So, and actually, to be able to succeed with it, it's not really enough that you can design the solution or see how it works. We actually need to be able to see how can we get everybody on board. So that's the first one. The second one is business. Everything related to it, understanding a business, know how to drive it, business models or business incentives of different kinds that you need to actually direct the flow of resources wherever you want it to go. Really, really crucial to be able to succeed. Then communication. How can you translate? You have to be able to translate the message to basically all types of people in your organization and in your value chain and amongst your customers. And of course, if it was this one, how this would become attractive for a buyer is not the same as for a user, is not the same as the CFO when you are coming in with your new business model and leasing, and it's not the same for production people, and it's so completely different story. So you have to be really, really good at understanding and translating this into every possible aspect that you might need. And then finally, of course, the actual circular economy, understanding how it works, being able to see it, making the technical details. And basically, I would say to really succeed, you need all of these 4 ingredients. Ideally packed up in one person, the leader of it all. Pretty rare that you can get that. But then at least in your team or in the people you surround yourself with. Get Syntef on board or do something, right? Get people in who actually have the insight that you need, because that's essential. All right, so throughout this day, you're really in for a treat. We have a lot of interesting people that I really look forward to hearing what they'll be talking about. I've cheated a bit because I've been talking to just about all of them, so I know that it's interesting what they have. But for you guys, sit back. This is going to be really, really interesting. The rhythm is really we have these 3, as Sushi said, 3 main themes, and there will be a couple of presentations and then a panel discussion. And then going back, a break, of course, and a panel, new presentations and a panel. So that's sort of the rhythm of the day throughout today and tomorrow. And of course, it would be great if you share some of your insights with the world around you, which I'm sure you will do anyway. But you might as well start while you're here, and if you do so, it would be great if you use this hashtag, CEC19, because then, of course, everybody else in the room can see and comment and connect and everything. So as as you also said, there are lots of really, really interesting people here, lots of insights and knowledge. So do use each other, and parts of that is, of course, by using the hashtag, so you can see, that's interesting what the gentleman in the back there said. I think I'm going to connect on that. So please do that as well. If some of you need a Wi-Fi code or need access to a Wi-Fi, it's an open one. It's just called Choice Guest. There it is. So if you need that, just find Choice Guest in your Wi-Fi link, and it should be open and ready. If you have any problems with it, let us know, but it should work. Basically, that's what they promise us. Good. So the first topic is, as Susie also said, the circular economy boundaries in action, the key learnings from the forefront. And just to expand a little bit on what you said, is that we would like, or we actually specifically said when I talked to these people, and we have had several times, that give us sort of a sneak peek in behind the scene. Because very often you get to a conference and you hear, this is what we are doing, and perhaps this is the results that we're getting, but it's really hard to go home and then say, okay, I'm going to do that as well. So that's why we've been kind of pushing for them to say, well, what are the learning points? What were the turning points? What really happened? What were the stumbling blocks? Because it's far more interesting, and we know that it's easier to learn from them than just, this is the model, this is what we do. So for you, we're kind of pushing in that direction, and we hope that you will find that valuable. So are you ready to learn from parts of the A team? Yes? Okay, that's good. Well, let's get the show on the road then, because the first speaker we have is Line Therese Wirk. And where are you? There you are. Good. Please come join us here, because then we'll, could you, Susie, could you help her with the mic as well? Then I'll introduce you. Linda. Sorry, what did I say? I don't know, something else. Sorry about that. Anyway, Linda is a senior advisor at Norsk Hydro, and she works at a small strategic technology group inside Hydro, but a really interesting one, I think. A group with the purpose of bringing in new perspectives and being the ones that really step out of the current boundaries to explore what are the new circular opportunities. And then, of course, Norsk Hydro is a really, really big organization, so they cover a lot of value chains. So her role is really to have a look at that and try to see where are new opportunities. And then, Linda, you stated when we talked that aluminum is one of the best and most recyclable materials. And I think, well, that's a bit of a statement. I think we might find somebody in the world that would disagree, I don't know. But so, Linda, why is that? Please tell us. Why is that? And here's the clicker. All right, so Linda, take it away.
Thank you.